3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
All right, when you hear the old theme song, that means it's time for only one thing. It's Brunch with Bud Poliquin. Another week coming your way. Brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria, where it's always love at first slice. Locations in Camillus and lovely Oswego. Enjoy Cam's, and don't just enjoy the pizza. Go for the subs and the wraps and everything else. Fantastic desserts as well.
Cannolis.
Oh, get yourself a nice stuffed cannoli. Our friends at Cam's doing it right for many, many years and a very proud sponsor of our programming. All right, so without further ado, let's bring him in. My former partner in crime. It's the one, the only Bud Poliquin. What's up, Bud? How are you?
Not much, boys. How are you? And by the way, cannoli, the plural of cannoli is cannoli. It's not cannoli.
Oh, it's not cannoli?
It's not
I was thinking it might be
cannoli.
cannoli.
No.
You sure it's not cannoli?
I know that
It
the
could be spelled
colloquial...
cannoli, but then pronounced cannoli. Like, for instance, I produce sometimes some semesters a syllabus, but most semesters I produce syllabi.
I
believe syllabi has a singular I on the back end, just like cannoli would have.
I believe it does.
It be cannoli.
It might be cannoli. I don't know, but I do know it's not cannolis. I see.
Okay, it's not cannolis.
Which, Bud,
yes, cannolis.
Here's a thing to admit here. So I had my first cannoli of my life at Cam's Pizzeria in Oswego, baby. So that was my first dipping toe in the pond of cannolis, and right. I came away impressed.
You trying to take after Bud to like not try things?
I've never had one.
Really old.
Hey, there you go.
He's never even had one.
I'm 100 years old and I have never had a cannoli.
Have you still had a blueberry yet in your life, or is that not passed?
No.
A cup of coffee, has that come across your table at all yet?
Not coffee, not tea, not blueberry, not raspberry, not a cannoli.
This is it. This is this man's world.
Not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
No peanut butter and jelly? I mean,
well, here's
what with your family. Your mother didn't ever give you a PB and J, like, you know, hey, don't have time to make a big lunch. Here you go, PB and J. Take it to school in the old metal lunchbox, Bud. No.
1,000 times no. And I will say this: I don't know if this is how Bud got here, but like, I go to a restaurant and I order. We go to a diner here locally, and I order the same thing every week. Same thing. And then I get some complaints. My fiance will sometimes mix it up. And other people, sometimes over here, we have people that are close to us in a nearby table. And they sometimes say, like, oh, why don't you try something different? Like, I know what I like. I'm never going to be disappointed. It's the same meal. I like it, and I have it every week. Other people, let me try your special, your kerfluffle. Oh, my God, this tastes terrible. We just paid for that terrible kerfluffle. I got my beautiful meal, and it tastes great every week, bud. Yeah, you know, you get what you order what you like. How about that?
The worst of this all is I'm a creature of habit, but compared to you two guys, I am like flying off the rails trying stuff, because compared to what you guys have never even tasted in your life, I have gone so much beyond your borders. So I guess I've got along quite, people might label me to be.
I've got along quite fetchingly eating what I've eaten.
Right.
So, but is that why? Is it the same reason as me? You just like what you like, so no reason to try, or is there a different reason? It doesn't intrigue me enough to try a blueberry, a raspberry, tea, coffee, PB and J, cannoli, and the list goes on and on. Let me ask you: has your lovely ever pushed you? Because sometimes people are supposed to push you outside of your lines and try to say, "Hey, you don't normally try these things. Maybe you should." Has she ever been aggressive in that way of trying to push you to try new things? No, not really. So she respects your boundaries. Great, that's good to know. By the way, I've had strawberries. I've only had a strawberry once in my life. And
It's a You know, if I came between this video and the next time we shoot with a tray of things, like a single blueberry, a little corner of a PB&J sandwich, a raspberry, a shot glass of my favorite coffee in the whole world. No. Would you just try them and then do some kind of, like you're a food critic, like, this was horrible. I would not. What about the other side, Bud? An episode of Fear Factor. All right, Bud, you can win $50,000. Here's a blueberry. You're like, Well, no, wait a minute.
Whoa.
I'll eat a blueberry for 50 grand. Just say what.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right,
Money talks, you know what walks. That's what it's all about.
I'll have a blueberry for 50 grand. Just say what.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's get on with it. My goodness, there is sports to talk
All right.
about beyond Bud's horrible eating habits. All right, let's start locally. Let's start with the Syracuse Orange. Another loss, this time to Pitt in their own building right here in good old Syracuse, New York. We said, and we have been saying, Bud, throughout our shows here, how Syracuse has this brutal schedule, and that in all honesty, a 6-win season would be a tremendous victory for this coach. Now they're 3-4 with 3 or 4 more games on their schedule. I think it's 5 games on their schedule. Thank you. 5 more games on their schedule, perhaps with 2 of them that are fairly winnable, and then 3 that seem like a near impossibility. So I don't know if that dream of 6 is going to happen. So are things according to schedule here, Bud, in terms of what you thought the season would be? Are things ahead of schedule or things behind schedule?
Things are exactly the way I had envisioned them. Is that on schedule, off schedule? That I don't know that.
And there's the remaining slate right there.
Yeah, I do know that last year's record was a great record. I don't know if it was indicative. I don't know what it was indicative of, but I do know that coming into this year, I thought that their ceiling would be 6 wins, and I thought that if they went 6-6 this year, I would have thought that'd be more impressive than last year's 10-3. I don't think they're going to get the 6-6. I think they're going to beat BC. I mean, that BC is apparently wretched. And North Carolina, we don't know. They've been dismissed categorically, but they almost won a game the other day on the road at Cal. They probably should have won the game, except the guy dropped the ball, 5 inches from the end zone. So I don't see how they can beat if form holds. There's almost no way one can imagine them beating Tech, Miami, or Notre Dame back to back all on the road. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So they have to win, one of those games, and the 2 games that they're supposed to win to get to 6-6. So I think getting to 6-6 is sure a possibility. That's why they play the games, but I would not bet that way.
We saw the quarterback, Steven Jelly goes out for the season. That stinks. He was playing fairly well. And they
Ricky
put
Collins.
they end up, to Lerch's point, they put in Ricky Collins to be the guy. This game was going so poorly against Pitt that they went to Carney, their third quarterback, who's a true freshman, and he bounced around for a couple of meaningless drives and did nothing. And then they went back to Ricky Collins. So, some Syracuse fans are saying, man, if you never gave up on Collins for those random couple of drives in the middle of the game, on some of the momentum at the back end of the game, maybe if you had more time, Syracuse could have done something. So some quarterback indecision from Fran Brown.
Well, before I say another word, I'm looking at the schedule here, and I said there was back to back. I'm wrong. They got Tech, then Carolina, then Miami, Notre Dame.
Correct.
So they're not playing 3 straight on the road, but nevertheless, they're playing 3 on the road, and I don't know how they can win any of them. Really, honestly, and I'm not trying to dodge the subject, but I'm not. I don't know why he does have the quarterbacks. He obviously thought this is a way I can win the game. I don't often question coaches' decisions because they know the players and they're in there with practice, and they supposedly, although I don't believe they watch as much film as they tell us they do, but if he wanted to change the quarterbacks, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He knew what he was doing. It's a decision that didn't seem to bear any fruit, but there are a lot of decisions he's made that have done well, so have worked out well. So,
no fruit.
You guys can chew on that one. I just don't really have much to say about should he or shouldn't he have messed around the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't want to chew on any fruit, Bud. I think we established that earlier, so no fruit will be chewed on.
Raspberries, and you barely have ever tried a strawberry. Let's go to pro football because that was a heck of a game over the weekend, my Giants. It was a real heck of a game right through the start of the fourth quarter. Heck, even 2-3 minutes into the fourth quarter.
For you, yeah.
Really fun, nice. Wow, this is impressive road win we're about to have. And then Armageddon struck, and it led you to call me, and I already mentioned this on our Monday live show, but to discuss the state of football offenses against football defenses. So I'll just hand it off to you to tee it up and talk about what it was that bothered you so much and why you seem to hate pro football so much. Go ahead.
No, I don't hate pro football, but I'm really
I don't
not.
believe that, but go ahead. You can try to mask it, but I believe you hate pro football.
No, I don't like football. It's a flawed game. It's our most flawed game for reasons I've gone through a bunch of times. So football is not a good game. It doesn't mean I don't watch it. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Doesn't mean that I have something of an informed opinion. But the opinion I'm going to give you now is not informed at all. It's just as a person watching it. And I've watched probably more pro games this year than I've watched in any year through the 6-week or 7-week stretch. And the number of games where the game changes this game that I've been watching for close to 3 hours changes its personality dramatically in the last 2 and 3 minutes of every game I've watched. People will score a touchdown. Like the other day, I was watching the Steelers. The Steelers score a touchdown with, 40 seconds to play or whatever to take the lead, and they're all dancing around, jumping around on the sideline. I said to myself, probably out loud, maybe I was talking to myself, I said, what are they jumping around for? They're going to lose the game. Because the line that is now part of football is almost part of the rules of football. Oh, they left too much time on the clock for the other team to score. And almost always the other team takes those precious seconds, that minute and 12 seconds, 30 seconds, 50 seconds, march right down the field. I mean, they march right down the field. And what I really can't dope out in my feeble mind, and this is why I say this isn't informed necessarily, is what happens to the offenses that they suddenly are impeccable, and what happens to the defenses where they can't defend anything. The run, the pass, the short pass, the long pass. And so everything, what people are saying is so exciting, to me, is getting redundant. And it's also mixed in, as what we talked about the other day, these field goal kickers are crazy good. So good that they've outgrown the field. They've outgrown the parameters of the field. And now you just have to basically get to the 50-yard line. Maybe a little closer, but you
Can I ask you about that? I want to go down this road with you, all right, for a minute, okay? In your opinion, okay, because I don't think I'm buying this, but I'm curious what your opinion is. So let me not taint the question, all right? In your opinion, let me make this a question. What do you think the reason is that kickers now can regularly kick 60-plus yard field goals, and if they're in the 50s, it's almost expected that they make them? What's going on?
Well, I'll try to answer that, but first I'm going to say, it reminds me of when Bob Beamon, remember in Mexico City?
Yes.
He jumped the long jump, and he broke the record by, 3 feet or something ridiculous. Usually you break it by a half an inch, 2 inches, whatever it is. He just went completely way beyond it. And everybody said, this is crazy. How could this happen? Evolution doesn't say that this is even possible. Mm-hmm. Well, that's how I'm feeling. These guys are all Bob Beamon. They've gone from 50 yards is, oh boy, this is going to be a challenge. Mm-hmm. So now 60 yards is a real possibility. They've done Bob Beamon stuff. We've
already seen a 70-yarder in a preseason game. We're going to see it in a regular season game. It is coming soon.
These guys they've added 10 and 12 yards to their distance. And that's what Bob Beamon did in Mexico City. He added 10 or 12 yards, quote unquote, in his event that these guys are doing now. Okay. You ask how, why? I have no idea.
Why you think it is. Because I'm going to tell you this, Bud. All right. I'm going to unmask myself here a little bit. I don't believe it's just simply evolution.
Because it's not evolution.
There are ordinary kickers. We are not talking about the Tuckers of the world. Okay. We're not talking about the best of the best at their time in the game who are bombing them. The regular guys are bombing them. And it's like, oh, this rookie, this guy. It's like, that's not, no way that's evolution. To me, it points to one thing and one thing only.
Wait a minute. Stop. That's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with evolution. Evolution takes years. So this is an evolution, and we have 21, 22-year-old rookies doing this kind of thing. If this was baseball, they'd say the bats are corked or they're juicing. I'm not saying they're juicing, and I'm not saying their legs are corked, however you can cork a leg, or however you can cork a ball. But I don't understand it, and it just seems to be something that no one's really talking about. I would think somebody should do an investigative piece, and maybe they find out a really rational, beautiful, wonderful reason why. But we're just saying 60-yarder, a 70-yarder in preseason, and we marvel for just, 30 seconds, and we go to the next game.
Yep.
When Tom Dempsey hit that one from 63, the football world stopped.
Yes.
And now people hit from 63 all the time, and they just shrug. And when they make it from 63, they still have 5 yards they could have gone. They could have gone 70. It's crazy, and I don't know why. And I think somebody should provide that answer. I can't do it.
I think it's the ball. I think it's the ball, and that's it. I think it's the ball. I think it's we've seen it in golf with the technology.
Baseball, I've seen it in baseball.
We've seen it in baseball with the home run. I absolutely positively believe it's the ball. Does it have anything to do with inflatability too? Perhaps. I don't know what's allowed and what's not allowed. But to me, it's the ball. Because when ordinary guys are kicking these 60-plus yarders, it just doesn't make any sense. And I always do, listen, they're faster than they've ever been. They're bigger than they've ever been. Everything has evolved in the game, okay? But this is too dramatic. To me, it has to be the ball. It has to be.
Well, the people are bigger and stronger. That took generations of football players to get this big and this strong. These guys have gone from a 50-yarder to a 60-yarder in 2 and 3 and 4 years? Impossible. Something's amiss. And yet football doesn't seem to want to, peek under that blanket. I don't know, peek under that rug. I don't know.
Boy Green, I saw you through some stats, Pete. Go ahead, walk us through it.
Yes, yeah. So there are 2 rule changes that happened this offseason that could have had, and they call it the K-ball, the kicker ball, is the effect. One of the rules is that they are allowing the teams, like every NFL team is like a team of people, and they allow these balls now to go back into the locker room, away from the cameras, and they're allowed to work in the ball. So they can beat it up. They can, I don't know what they do because I was never a kicker or punter. So I don't know the kinds of things they do to balls to make them more, that they're not just fresh out of the package. But apparently there are now rules now. Before, you had to have an NFL eye on them as they were working on the balls, and you could only do it for a limited amount of time. They made a rule change this offseason that you're now allowed to bring it to the locker room, do whatever the hell you want with it, basically 2 hours before kickoff. And that has seemingly had an effect. And also they changed the type of ball as well. So that was a twofer this offseason that seems to be having dramatic effects based on some of the percentages.
Look at these numbers. I mean, you've got it here in 2025, as we know, Boy Green is only through not even half the season.
Correct, of course.
Okay. And the numbers are up 67% in terms of made beyond 60. I'm not even going to look at the 50s. Let me just look at the 60s where the money is. All right. And 7 have already been made beyond 60 right now, and we're not even halfway through the season. A total of 7 were made all of last year. The year before that, 3. I mean, this is off the charts, crazy stuff. All right, we don't have to spend an entire hour on it, but I wanted to get it off my chest and talk about it a little bit. Let's talk some baseball, Bud. There are some stories in baseball, including what's going on in the playoffs, and in particular one player, and that is Shohei Ohtani. So I'm very curious on your take on this, because I have a criticism, actually, of this Ohtani incredible performance, okay? But how incredible was it what he did?
Well, I remember a story I read jogged my memory of a guy named Tony Cloninger, a pitcher. I think at the time he was pitching for the Braves. And in a regular season, he threw either a complete game or a no-hitter. I forget which. I think it was a complete game. And he threw a complete game on the mound. And this was back when pitchers batted. And he also hit 2 grand slams in that game. Mm-hmm. So that he would throw a complete game and hit 2 grand slams is certainly in the conversation with what Ohtani did the other day. Okay. But Ohtani did it, in a postseason game with more eyes on him. I can live very comfortably with the idea that it was the greatest individual baseball game ever played by anybody. 3 home runs, 6 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts. I can say that's the best game ever. However, those baseball historians among us have dug out a Cloninger game, and there's another game or two in there. So do we have to quibble about, is it the best game or the second best game or the third greatest game? I don't know. But let's face it, what we saw the other night was almost, you don't have words for it, what he did. Because not only hit the home runs, but they're, massive.
Powering shots.
He's great. He is, and this is not a prisoner of the moment thought. Remember, he's going to win his 4th MVP next month. He'll be awarded his 4th MVP next month. You could argue that he is the best pitcher in baseball, or at least you can argue he'd be the number 1 pitcher on almost every staff in baseball. You can argue, with the exception of probably Aaron Judge, he's the best hitter in baseball. You can argue that he's the best runner, the best base runner in baseball. The guy scored 140 runs, and he's doing that with a massive body. So his intelligence and his speed and his athleticism is phenomenal. So this is not a prisoner of the moment thought. He has to be the greatest baseball player in the history of the sport. And I don't know, and I'm a Willie Mays guy, and I'm a Ted Williams guy, and I love Stan Musial and Frank Robinson and all these people. Okay, I understand they were great players. But has there ever been a player, and don't Babe Ruth me, because Babe Ruth did what he did 100 years ago against white Americans. This guy is doing it now against tremendous athletes from all over the world, and white, black, brown, yellow, they're all different skin colors from all over the world, and they've had 100 years of evolution. So don't Babe Ruth me. This guy is better than Babe Ruth. I never saw Ruth, but I can't imagine that this guy, that Babe Ruth's better than this guy. So who is he? What is he? I think it's safe to say, in my mind, he's the greatest baseball player in the history of the game.
All right, today's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria, where there's always love at first slice. Let's hear a little bit more about our friends at Cam's, and then I will come back and offer, dare I say, a wee bit of criticism about this incredible, stupendous, tremendous, colossal, greatest ever baseball game that this guy.
All those words, all those adjectives apply.
Okay, be right back.
When you think of Cam's Pizzeria, think about 2 of your favorites, their zesty buffalo chicken wing pizza or their tasty chicken bacon ranch. Over 16 specialty pizzas made fresh daily with the best ingredients. Indulge in their homemade calzones, subs, wraps, salads, and their famous cannolis for dessert. They're all made with love just for you. Order online for 10% off at camspizza.com. Locations in Camillus and Oswego. Cam's Pizzeria. It's love at first slice.
All right, we are back. Brunch with Bud. We're talking a little baseball right now, talking about the unbelievable, stupendous, colossal, greatest thing ever in the history of mankind. Playoff performance by one Shohei Ohtani as the Dodgers are headed to the World Series. Okay.
So, Lerch, we want you to explain why it wasn't love at first slice for you with Shohei Ohtani. Please.
As Bud said, all of those things apply. But here's my wee bit of criticism. I'm going to, dare I say, Bud, go a little Nolan Ryan on you. Okay? 6 innings, 6 stinking innings, 100 stinking pitches. Come on. Are we?
Wait
why am I not impressed by that?
Coming off Tommy John. What are you, nuts?
All right, no, it wouldn't have mattered. He could have had Tommy John 5 years ago, never had Tommy John. He's going to go 6 innings and throw 100, and you know it. So please stop it. The guy is... He's on a heater. They're winning a playoff game. This is for the marbles here. This is to get to the big dance. And we go, after 6. Hey, give me the righty. No. Let's take the lefty. Come on. When did we wimp out so much? I mean, let him, if you want to call it the all-time greatest, stupendous, most colossal thing, okay? I'll crazy Eddie you here a minute, okay? Then let's let it be that way, which Nolan Ryan is giggling today. He's saying, yeah, the dual thing, it's very, very impressive, and the home runs were incredible. But 6 stinking innings and 100 pitches, he couldn't have thrown a little further. He couldn't have got a little deeper. Couldn't have finished that thing off, dare I say? No, not in today's baseball. It's 6 and get the heck out. Most of the time, it's 5 and get the heck out. Get to the pin. Quick. I can't stand it.
You're not going to hold that against Ohtani.
Well, I am in a wee bit.
If Ohtani said, take me out after 6, but he didn't. And by the way, Nolan Ryan, who, I bow to no person in my respect for Nolan Ryan. But Nolan Ryan never hit 3 home runs
I get it.
as he pitched in a complete game. Okay, so
like I said, it's a nitpicky thing, but it's not. Maybe it's just not Ohtani. It's just my frustration with baseball and the way baseball now manages pitching. I find it ridiculous that we're calling great outings a 6-inning outing. You know what can happen in those last 3 innings? He can give up lots of hits, even home runs, and dare I say, maybe even lose the game. But nope, we get him out of there before any of that could happen because we don't want to tire him. We got to preserve him for something. Now, okay, you're right to mention Ohtani is coming off surgery and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to throw that stuff out with the bathwater. I'm just saying, baseball's gotten wimpy, Bud. Let's face it. The pitchers are wimpy. Wimpy.
So, Lerch, this was an overrated performance, is what you're saying, by Shohei Ohtani.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just have a bone to pick with baseball and their wimpiness to label a 6-inning effort something of greatness of all time. Now, the greatness of all time with Ohtani is that he was doing 2 things at once, okay? So I'm not going to dull that thing and all that stuff that happened. But it's still just 6 innings.
My praise for Ohtani, though, was not on this one game. It's the arc of what he's done over his time. Fair enough. That's what I'm saying. The guy is great. Now, this segues into something. I'll do this quick because I don't want to bore people who've listened to this before. But you know how I say you don't pitch to certain people in baseball? You take them out of the game by walking.
Ooh, yes.
Fool me all you want. The other day in the Mariners Blue Jays game 5 in Seattle, the Blue Jays are up 2-1 in the 8th inning. 2-1. Leadoff man in the bottom of the 8th. Leadoff man. There's nobody on base. In a 2-1 game is who? The big dumper. What do? They pitched him. What does he do? He hits a home run to tie the game. The place goes nuts and things shift. Now, I know the grand slam won the game, but I submit that if Raleigh was not pitched to and didn't hit the home run, and now it's 2-1 with Raleigh on first base, and now let's get going from there. It's very possible that the Blue Jays could have held on and won 2-1, but they pitched to him, and I don't know why. Then you go to game 4 of the Dodgers Brewers game. 5-1, the Dodgers win that game. 3 of the runs come off of what? Pitching to Shohei Ohtani. And I don't even know. Maybe one of them were they 3 solo homers? Forgive me. I'm sorry, I don't know. I forget. But
I'll let you know.
He might have driven in 4 runs, but I know he drove in 3 on 3 home runs.
Let's see.
Why?
No, he had a guy on. No, wait a minute. No, 4th inning. No, 7th inning. No, all with nobody on.
So there, even more reason. The bases are empty. In the closeout game for the Brewers, if you lose, they're empty, and you pitch this guy. Now, let's say you don't pitch to him, and let's say somebody doesn't come up, or even they do come up in a home run. So what? Ohtani didn't. Somebody else beat you, not Ohtani. Now, that game they still lose 2-1 because I don't know if they're ever going to score, the Brewers. But you get the idea that once again, I'm watching these games and I'm saying, I wish there was somebody watching these games with me, so I'm not talking to myself watching these games. What are they doing? Why are you doing this?
But Bud, didn't you just say, wow, man, the Shohei Ohtani thing's pretty cool, man? And then on the other breath, man, we probably shouldn't have pitched to him.
I'm not being inconsistent. For the fans, for the game, for baseball, for history, great. But I'm through the manager's eyes and the other dugout. He doesn't care about anything but winning that game. And as a pro, I would applaud him for doing everything he can to win the game. We're not talking amateur ball, and we're not talking a meaningless game where, okay, so he hits another home run. What do we care? We're down 9-2.
Right, it's not a derby. It's not an all-star game.
In that game, at that moment, I don't care if I'm the manager of the opposing team. I'm not pitching to Raleigh. I'm not pitching to Ohtani, and I'm not even pitching around him and throwing him. Get out of here. I'm not even looking at it. Get to first base. Let's carry on with this game. And I'm not saying I'm always right, but in this instance, I am always right because you don't pitch to these people if you don't have to. If you could take, in today's NBA, okay, let's take LeBron. Let's say he's the greatest player of all time, and let's say he's in his prime. But even now, he's not in his prime, but he's still pretty darn great. If you as a coach can wave a magic wand and take LeBron James out of the game, if there was a way within the rules of basketball that you could say, well, LeBron can't cross half court for some reason, and now he's not part of the offense, you would do it.
No,
you can't.
No, you want to beat the best. You want to beat the best, baby.
You can tell the best player on the other side, sorry, not today. You're not going to beat us today. I'm not pitching to you.
That's un-American.
Well,
right.
so there we go. So there we go.
Okay. Well, let me work this one back in, Lerch, because I know we want to talk about it back in college football. So another firing, Bud. I know you got your rocks off on this a couple of weeks ago in college football world. The latest victim, Billy Napier. He was fired after.
But he's no victim. Okay, we should all be victimized, like Billy Napier.
Well, I didn't tell you, okay, what he's been victimized with and what he now has to deal with after being fired after that start to the season. This poor guy has a $21 million, is owed roughly $21 million. Half the buyouts due within the next 30 days. This poor guy's got to wait all these days to get this money. And then he's going to be spread with 3 annual installments of that money, meaning that the Gators are still paying former coach Dan Mullen, and they will be paying 3 head coaches for the second time in 7 years once they hire Napier's replacement. So that is all. So try to keep track of all that with Dan Mullen, Napier, and the new guy coming in.
So Billy Napier, and I'm not talking at all about, poor Billy got fired from his job. I don't care at all. We all work, by and large, for one reason. We get paid to work. He has a more interesting job than most people. He's a college football coach.
Sure, yeah.
So he doesn't have a job. But most people don't care about their job. They care about the income that the job provides.
Sure. Yeah.
This guy is going to get $10.5 million sometime in the next 3 weeks.
Yep.
And it's $3.5 million in each of the next 3 years. James Franklin is obviously going to get $50 million, $49.5 million.
Good for him.
For Penn State. And there are people all through the coaching world who are outraged that poor James Franklin, got fired.
Tough.
There are people who are going to say the same Billy Napier, poor Billy Napier. And I say, without getting too whatever, I'm insulted. It's as insensitive as it gets for somebody to stand up before the world and say James Franklin got screwed over. Billy Napier got
no doubt about it. Yeah, poor guys.
I just don't know how you can dare stand up before people, hardworking people who don't have a job, people who are hard up to pay for groceries this week, and say there's something wrong with this world with James Franklin, blah, 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 blah. I find it incredibly insensitive, and I take it. I'm insulted that you would say this to me and expect me to fall in line with, woe is he, that he got $50 million. I tell you, I don't know anybody, literally anybody, who likes the job more than he would like that kind of payout. Do you? Anybody in your sphere?
I love this job. I do it for free. I haven't told Manchild that, but I do this for free.
I don't want to hear about these. And then you can tap your toe. Why these people are making decisions that cost universities, in this case, $50 million for Franklin, $21 million for Napier, whatever millions left for Mullen. Across the board, these ADs, these chancellors, these presidents never swing with the person just fired. And I don't understand. I just think that if you're going to fire the coach who's no good, then you got to fire the person who identified this coach who is no good and gave him all that money. I don't understand why they walk away from every AD and every chancellor and president just walks away. Maybe I don't have that right. Maybe there's been a few here and there who walked out the door with them. But by and large, the AD, the president, they don't have to answer to the student body, to the board of directors, nothing. I don't get that. I think that if you're firing these guys, the person who did the hiring should go with them.
All right, look, we started with food. We'll end with food. I don't know if you heard, but it's very heartbreaking news out of Texas. These Texas people take their food, as you know, very seriously. Everything's very big in Texas. And apparently it was big since the 1990s going through the present time, was the weekly, during football games, home football games for Texas Tech, the tortilla toss, where fans at the beginning of the game toss their tortillas over the heads of other fans and onto the field, and it makes a big sloppy mess. Apparently, the big sloppy mess has gotten a little bit big and a little bit too sloppy, and they have decided to put a stop to it. So the AD and the current head coach said, that's it. We're ending the tortilla toss. Do you have a reaction to the tortilla toss being tossed out of college football, apparently, at Texas Tech?
Boy Green, please bail me out because I don't have I'm speechless. I'm without words. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, here's a picture of it. Yeah, there's the tortillas flying.
Yeah.
So the people in the front are actually getting splattered with food.
Yeah. Pelted by
That's very possible. Yes. Getting pegged by tortillas.
And people are mourning the passing of this tradition, I take it.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
I'm taking if you pay good money for these tortillas, then you're just chucking them. You just literally have food waste here. We got people starving in Africa. These people are chucking tortillas to the wind.
I repeat, I am without speech. Okay. This is insanity. There's no end to the insanity in the human species. Okay. And here's another example. But thanks for bringing it up. Now I'm better educated.
Have you ever tried a tortilla? That's really the question here. Have you ever tried a tortilla?
Oh, yeah.
I have.
Part of the problem here.
Are you a big fan?
Rather plain. You know, it's just the little meat, the little cheese, and that's.
And would you toss it?
No, I'd eat it. No, I'm funny that way. I'm funny that way. I toss the ball and I eat it tortilla. I'm kind of weird that way.
All right. As always, another interesting brunch with Bud. Bud, thanks as always, man. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, boys. Next week looms. Bye-bye.